You have a despicable pastor out of Memphis, Tennessee. Now, this pastor had took a credit card of a 77-year-old woman, ran it up to thousands of dollars. And then now he got to the point where she had to get him arrested, him and his wife. Let's roll the clip.
Pastor Smith, Greg Coy, can we talk to you? Pastor Frederick Smith drove away when I went to his home to ask him about allegations by a former member.
I don't want to see him. No part of it. Because he was a dishonest pastor.
Clevie Williams claims Smith stole her identity, opened up credit cards in her name that he used. Williams claims Smith failed on his promise to pay off the nearly $20,000 in charges that Williams says Smith made without her consent.
I was just almost speechless. I couldn't think of anything to do. I said, what is this? I've never in lifetime had a card or anything from Bank of America. Never.
Did you ever open up a Bank of America card?
No, sir.
Sign it?
No, sir. I've never been inside one of the banks.
The Williams family gave me the last statement from Bank of America dated April 2015. The amount due is more than $19,000. I counted nearly $9,000 in charges he made in a week and a half. What happened? The credit card companies, what did they do? Did they start to call you? Did they say, pay us the money?
No, they sent me mail. They started mailing to my address to be paid.
How nervous were you?
I just could not function. I was hurt. I would more or less say I was angry, and I just didn't know what else to do.
Did you ever look at Pastor Smith and say directly, I know you did this to me?
No, I went straight to the authorities.
Williams filed this police report in May of 2015, identified Pastor Smith as a suspect, but later declined to press charges after he agreed to pay the Bank of America bills the next month. Williams says Smith never did.
No, not all of it. They paid down and quit. They paid some and quit.
Last Friday, I spoke to Pastor Smith on the phone. He told me 3 times that he never stole Williams' personal information to open a credit card. He told me Williams opened the Bank of America credit card and gave him permission to use it for church expenses. I asked Pastor Smith, why use a credit card of a 77-year-old woman? Smith told me it was a poor choice. Can you pay that off?
Oh, no, I don't. Sir, I am a senior, and I own senior income once a month. No way.
This guy is extremely despicable. He gonna say that she opened it up and gave it to him? Let's just say that she did that. Let's say she wanted to help out the church. Why would you take it? Why would you take our card? You know good and well you could open up a business account underneath the church's name. You can open up a business credit card underneath the church's name as well. You know you can do that. You saw a 77-year-old woman that you could misuse, and you chose to do so, you and your wife. And you wonder why a lot of people don't go to church here in America, especially the black church. The black church have a lot of crooks and swindlers in there. You not only stealing people's money when you do that, you sit up there sleeping with people's wives and girlfriends, and you having all these side babies and side chicks in the church houses. Then when you get called out on it, you get up on stage and talking about, well, you know, you can't judge nobody and you have to forgive. And then people accept that response and people's okay with that. And they allow you to continue to do what you're doing. I always say this, if a person in a church house you're following, you are a reflection of your teacher. If your teacher is the only one that's driving Rolls Royce and you're not even driving a Mercedes or something even close to that, then where is the teaching coming from? And his teaching's not working right. He's only benefiting from those teachings. I wouldn't feel comfortable having a Rolls Royce, which that's stupid to even have one, but I wouldn't feel comfortable having a Rolls Royce and then everybody in my congregation taking a bus to get to church. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that because obviously I'm not teaching the right things because they're not applying what I'm teaching every Sunday. But it doesn't matter, you know, because they can sit up there and say 10% of your income and nobody says anything about it. They say, well, I'm giving 10% to the Lord. They have no issue at 10%. Think about this, 10% of your check Every time. That's what they demanding. And if you don't give 10% of your payroll check every time you get paid, you know, they making you feel bad about that. I've talked about, you know, tithing on this channel. I got a whole video on tithing, talking about the Bible and everything, you know, showing how a lot of these preachers are. And if you haven't seen that video, just research it. We talk about the tithe. But these preachers just, you know, they crooks. A lot of them are crooks. You got to think about it. Back in the day, the preachers, definitely during the civil rights movement, was in the streets. Notice you don't see no black preachers fighting against racism and white supremacy today. You notice that? They say nothing at all. They stay behind the four walls of the church, jackleg preaching, got these choirs singing, and that's it. They're not out here doing a thing. They're not. Because if they were out here doing the thing, we'll see all these reverends out here doing something. You see, they don't want to end up like a lot of the preachers back in the day, like Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers, and all the different people who was preaching and came out of the church. They didn't want to end up like them, being ridiculed, jailed, killed. They don't want any of that. More people were respected a lot more if preachers was coming out fighting against racism and white supremacy. People respect that, but they don't want to do it. It's a hustle for them. Just do a little speech out of the Bible, get your 10%. You can do whatever you want to do. You can cheat on your wife, you know, have side babies, or you could have a whole side family. It don't matter. Just people gonna say don't judge you, and you be back to, you know, doing your pastoring again. That's why black people are so messed up. A lot of black folks turned away from the scriptures because of people like this man. They're straight criminals and thieves. Even on the continent of Africa, you got people doing the exact same thing in these so-called churches. We don't have no morals in our communities like we used to. I mean, we used to have some morals to say, you know, you don't do nothing to no elderly person. You don't misuse no elderly person. We have no morals. We are the darkest in our morality I've ever seen in my life. Black people's greatest thing about them was their moral character. And we have descended way down to the pits of hell, acting like the people that we say that we can't stand, the white supremacists, in our morals. Because we know how they are. They don't have no morals. And we acting just like them. That's why a lot of us say the worst thing that happened to us was desegregation. Because the moment we got around others, we went down in all kind of areas. Our businesses went down, our morality went down, you know, just our whole situation went down. And now look where we at today. Weak, don't want to fight, practicing escapism for everything, don't want to deal with the reality of what we're dealing with in America. Children being murdered and killed by white supremacists. Our elderly is being killed in grocery stores. Our young teenage girls are being stabbed in the neck. But this jackleg preacher is stealing from a 77-year-old woman instead of getting out and fighting against racism and white supremacy in Memphis. Well, let me come there and think about this particular story. Y'all know those churches with these preachers. If your preacher not out here fighting against racism and white supremacy, if he or she is not doing it, you don't see them out there, you don't see them addressing anything, you don't see them calling nothing out, then what are you sitting there for?